Hey guys, this is Catchy Cactus here. I am back with a follow-up video to my last build guide for the Charge Dash Raider, and I think people got kind of the wrong impression, and I didn't do a good enough job showcasing really what the build's about. And what it is about is just running tier 16s. This is really an L can go build. You can go any really Atlas things you want, but I tend to like Delirium for it as it is very quick. You move around. So when I'm talking about clear speed, I'm not talking about time that you can kill bosses. It's just how quickly can you complete a map is really the big thing. I think this build can scale pretty decently, and you can kind of do what you want with it, which is why I wanted to show that it can do bosses. It's not fast, though. It's not a good single target build. Charge Dash is a low damage, ability, but because of it, you can achieve the ability to just blow through maps because you're actually basically going through maps faster than you could even be sprinting. It's faster than your movement speed. And with the Quicksilver, we're at like 115 move speed with the Quicksilver. And the Charge Dash takes it at a higher value. So we're really just able to zip through maps very quickly, clearing everything. I don't necessarily kill every single, magic pack. I try to get every rare just in case there's like a touched mob in there. But from this point forward, I'm speeding up the video, but the timer speeds up with it because I don't want this to be too long of a video, but I just kind of want to showcase here how quickly maps are actually being completed. So, that Mesa we got done in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Obviously, I'm not doing league mechanics. I'm skipping like rituals and stuff for the sake of the video. I'll admit I did go back and do those, but I didn't want that to really be representative because I'm trying to show just, if you're Alkin going, what your average map is without league mechanics really getting spiced in, other than its Delirium. I did obviously just go in the Delirium mirrors for all these, but really we're able to achieve just blowing through these maps very quickly. And in this, obviously, not doing the ritual for the sake of the video, going back to it after, which is something I like to kind of do anyway. It just is a little less stop and go for me, so I kind of like to. It depends on the map. If it's a map where it's too much backtracking, then I won't. But for a map like Castle Ruins, I kind of prefer to just zip through and then go back for rituals. And I know a lot of people don't like rituals for that exact thing. It is very stop and go. And but I like going it just in case. I've had very bad luck with it this league, actually. I had one divine. Other than that, I've had pretty much nothing. So I'm thinking about specking out of it and going more like Abyss or something. Going for those crazy 6 mod Abyss jewels actually sounds like a little bit of fun. But here in this arid map, I really prefer open maps. In the last video I showed a Foundry, and Foundry can feel very clunky. Open maps feel really good, but when you're in a map with a lot of corridors and hallways, a lot of things that kind of block your Charge Dash, it can be a little clunky. And I know a lot of people were talking about the clunkiness of the build, and I'm not going to lie, Charge Dash is a fairly clunky ability, but if you kind of get used to it, it can actually feel pretty good. In this waste pool, a little bit of a clunky map for Charge Dash, but I'm still able to just zip through it. Once you get the hang of kind of the way the Charge Dash can move around, you can actually hug corners with it and do pretty well. The times where it can kind of be a bother is when you're kind of end up Charge Dashing into a wall. And one thing I wanted to kind of talk about as well is map bosses. The map bosses, some of them can get a little bit spicy. I don't think that they're necessarily challenging. Like, it's pretty rare that I would die for one, but this is meant to be, a softcore trade build. There is some bosses that are going to feel a little bit bad because of the way that Charge Dash works and the lack of single target. And not to say, in just a tier 16 L can go, but sometimes when you get your Delirium up to like 6 stacks and there's a map boss on those 6 stacks of Delirium, yeah, that can sometimes be a little bit hard. And that is the thing. Like, this build is really meant to just get some early currency in the league. That's kind of what I use it for. And then generally use that currency to do something a little more, a little more advanced, something that can really take down content. So this is really meant to be a tier 16 L can go build. And I understand, there are builds that can kind of be league starts, do tier 16, and then scale into being bossers and doing juice content and stuff like that. I get that. That's kind of what makes meta builds meta. And the reason that those generally see balance changes pretty frequently. I run this 5 leagues in a row for league start, and it's survived pretty well. It feels really good still. If anything, I think it's stronger right now than it's ever been. Well, that's pretty much all I've got, guys. Just wanted to show you some maps I did the day after posting this and kind of showcase how quickly this build can actually take down tier 16 maps. I realized that wasn't maybe quite, it wasn't showcasing really the strength of the build in the last video, and I hope that this maybe gets some people to consider actually trying it out, because I think it's a lot of fun. I personally think that, clearing a tier 16 map in 1 minute and 13 seconds is pretty insane. I'm sure there's other builds out there that can do it as well, but part of it is just the budget. I mean, to get online to be able to do tier 16 maps, you really do tier 16 maps in under 2 minutes. You're looking at probably a divine in total currency right now. Yeah, you can get the Void Forge day 2. I was able to get one for 30 chaos. The replica lore weave that I used, I think I spent like 15 chaos getting. So few people actually end up using the item that you can get one really cheap, even though it has a ton of power. So really, this is just meant to be a really crazy budget build. But thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you next time.